Good morning, it's Craig here. Just saying that it's 11 past 11 on the 11th of March. What a time to start recording. I am checking in because it's been a couple of days since I have recorded a vlog, which has not gone unnoticed in my mind after doing it daily and having the blog called Writing My Untitled Novel Every Day. It was a commitment to vlog every day. The one time that I didn't, and I did it on Christmas Day and on New Year's Day, and I have been very committed to it even when I've been away, but there have been some circumstances when I've been away when the days have just been too busy and too full to be able to secure the time that's necessary to record something like this, and then to upload it and to do the blog post and all the rest. So I did take a week's gap when I was travelling in Victoria, and this past week I had a few busy days when I had to really commit my head to other things other than writing first thing of a morning. And I always knew that was going to happen, but I also thought I would have strategies to still find the time. But I think what particularly happened in the past couple of days was I got a bit tired, and I didn't want to push myself so much that I got unwell. This has been the longest period of time that I've had that I have not even had a little tinge of being unwell for months and months and months. I mean, through school and through work and activity, there's always germs and you always get unwell. But for me, a big part of what would make me unwell would be if I was overtired, and if I was up too late and up too early, even potentially, not getting enough sleep. And one of my big goals for this year has been 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night, and I've been really good with that. But times when it's teetered on the edge of not being quite enough, I'm making myself pull back a bit, and that's what I did for the past couple of days of this week. I was tired, I knew I needed to sleep more, and so I didn't write or vlog for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this was after I had two really spectacular days at the start of the week on Monday, Tuesday, where I didn't just write, but I did many other things and ticked massive goals off my list for both those days. It's almost like the success of those 2 days sort of wore me out for the rest of the week, which is not impossible for that to be true. For that causal relationship, to make sense. So where I'm at is that yesterday, being a Saturday, I was well rested, and I thought I've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to catch up on, and Saturday is my catch-up day or revision and review day. So I just put it into catch-up, and in the morning I finished Wednesday's writing. In the afternoon I finished Thursdays, and in the evening I finished Fridays. And it wasn't a big task, it was just bouts of time that I had segmented out across the day to do that, and I ended up finishing. So by yesterday evening, I'd finished the whole week's worth of work, catching up on 3 days on one day, and then I had the Monday, Tuesday that went well within their daily time slots. So now Act 1.1 is finished, which is a fantastic feeling. It's a very sensible move that I have allocated myself to just write on the weekdays, and then to leave the weekends for revision, catch-up and planning, because it does give that 2-day buffer in case it's just a week of very challenging time constraints like it was in this past week. The Saturday I've just used to catch up, which is very nice, and my weekends are usually pretty free. And then today I actually wrote a presentation this morning that I'm giving this Wednesday night on a whole other field aside from writing, aside from this book, but I am going to this afternoon do a bit of planning for the week ahead. And the sort of planning I'm going to do is capturing a lot of images and a lot of visual references that I want to refer to across the week, so I don't have to be doing that each morning. So I'm going to do it this afternoon. It'll be a nice leisurely thing to go through the content that I've prepared and to find visuals associated with it, to save it into my Scrivener folders, and then I'll have those to refer to across the week. I don't have any travel coming up this week. I mean, each week is busy, but I don't have that on my plate, so I'll be each morning, I'm sure, able to commit to the plan of writing each day as normal, and just make sure to not burn too brightly at the start of the week and then fade out later. I guess one thing I'm thinking too is whether I'm going to do these vlogs every day, because it does take time to record and then to physically write the blog and then to do all that, and it's not a big amount of time, but when I am being strategic with how I use my time, I don't want to think that I don't want to feel like when I do my writing, that I've then got to try and squeeze in these other components that can potentially make the time more tricky to balance. So I'm wondering if I will just vlog as a weekly review instead of a daily. And part of me doesn't like that, because I do like the commitment of daily accountability, but I also like that if that's a strategy that I need to do it weekly instead of daily, so long as I am writing daily, and if I don't write daily, so long as I catch up by the weekend, and then if I can report on that at the end of each week, that might be the best thing to do. The other component is whether I will have a lot to vlog on each day that I am writing. Maybe I will, and on those days, if I think I've got something very potent to reflect on and feedback here, that's fantastic. But if it is just writing prose and being happy with it, and then moving on to other things across the day, I think I can probably sum up a lot of the general thoughts and feelings at the end of the week. For this post, I'm really just reflecting on the process of reflecting rather than necessarily talking to how it felt to write the prose, except that I will just say on that that I'm really happy with how it's going. I'm getting a good feeling for the style of prose that I'm putting into this first draft. I can see some good opportunities to Pynchonify it a bit, which is what I want to reflect a bit of the Gravity's Rainbow aesthetic in how this comes about. And I can see nice little jazzy Pynchon ways of doing that on a redraft, which is nice. But otherwise it's good. Like, I feel the segmented allocations of word count are spot on. I'm hitting between like 250, 350 for each little micro scene, which is great. It feels very natural for what I've planned to then put that into that amount of space, and I'm not worried later on in further chapters in parts of the novel where I don't have necessarily as much bulk planning content as I did for the start of the novel. Now that I recognise the word count and how that links to what I've planned, I don't see it being a challenge. I think it's going to work out very naturally as I go on. And I mean, it's nice, it reads well. I read it back and I think, yeah, that makes sense, and I think that's engaging. I'm going to get my wife to sit down and listen to me later this afternoon for about 40 minutes or whatever as I read through Act 1.1. It came to 4,500 words, which is really neat. I mean, I think I had just over 3,000 and something was the what I wanted to aim for. Let me just check that to see what the original word count was. To get a calculator here, because I was wondering about that. So we had let's check. We had 80,000 divided by 2, because because 80,000 the word count, is 40,000. 2 parts of the novel, 40,000 divided by 6 chapters. Hang on, is that right? 80,000 divided by 2 is 40,000 divided by... No, we want to do 80,000 divided by 6 for the 6 chapters, which is 13,333. And then, so say we say 1,300, each chapter's made up of 4 acts, divided by 4. That's exactly it. So 3,333 was the goal. I did 4,500. So it's 1,000 words over, but I mean, that's fine. It doesn't feel like it's too long or too drawn out. It all feels very purposeful and necessary, and the flow goes nicely. So I'm happy with that. And that's because I was around 100 words over in each micro scene, so it added up to be that. So that's it. Maybe it will be weekly updates on a weekend, on a Saturday or a Sunday, but trusts that I'll be writing every day and I'll be meeting my word count by the end of the week, and you'll know that because I'll be reporting here at the very least weekly. So I'm happy with this arrangement. We'll give it a shot, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good week, and I'll see you then.